Do I believe in God? Yes. Yes, I do. When I was a baby, I was christened, and when I was 8, I was confirmed. I've always been raised in a Christian family with strong Christian morals, and I've been going to church since as long as I can remember, till about the time I was 18.
Do I believe in God? Yes, I do. And the reason I believe is I was baptised into the Church of England, when I was very young. I was probably just 4 or 5 months old. But I've always been brought up to worship God and Jesus in the Church of England. I went to church when I was young, and I followed that through during the school years, my teenage years, and then into adult life.
Do I believe in God? I'd probably say that I don't believe in God, although I don't completely rule out that there could be an existence of a higher power or a supernatural being. I think this has kind of stemmed from being younger and being... My family aren't religious, but being slightly religious, and, the kind of drum God into you in school.
Do I believe in a God? No. If I was going to say I was any belief, I'd say agnostic. Although I don't believe in a deity of sorts, I do acknowledge that there might be some sort of benevolent presence that could ultimately affect the way we live, although I believe that that is unknown and that could never be quantified.
I think answering the question, do I believe in God, can be quite a hard one to answer, because despite the fact that I do consider myself an atheist, I was brought up in a Church of England school which, from a very young age, hammered in the idea of God being this, huge being which influences everything you do. And as much as I realise now that that is a ridiculous concept in itself, there is still little doubts there. But that being said, I don't think that there is this human-like entity which influences everything. I don't think it is a human thing.
No, I consider myself an atheist. Just on grounds that it just seems implausible. I mean, yeah, there's like a lot of things we don't know yet, but the things that are often going to be kind of discovered or made sense of in the near future. There's that argument, always the argument, like, you can't explain this, but I mean, 100 years ago, the amount of things that couldn't be explained that are explained now is huge. So I believe in... Why I believe that is because of that. Why I believe... Well, I guess atheism is a lack of belief, but why I'm an atheist is because of that. Because things eventually get explained.
But I remember that we had really strong roots in Christianity, and we had to go to the church, pray for each other. When someone was ill, we were trying to make them feel better by praying, sending love and light. But what I really believe is energy between people. This exists, it's real. And intuition we've got within each other. It helps us to make our life better, choosing places which we are happier in.
Why do I believe? Well, I've always questioned my belief. I've always looked to see what others say and others believe about. And I've met many people who are Christians. And I found that the beliefs that I have are true to me. I like the way that Christianity and the belief in God moves people forward, encourages people to grow, encourages people to develop, and also encourages people to look after others, to make sure that they also are taken care of, and that other people get a chance to flourish and be helped themselves. Then when that happens, when the individual is flourishing and other people are flourishing, society is better, society is stronger. And we stop trying to kill each other and get rid of each other.
I think growing up, it just kind of made more sense to me to think that if there was a God, what makes you think that your particular religion is right? Why should it be organised religion in which you worship God? So I think that it should be something personal, and that if you want to believe in a higher power, that's not bad. And I think that one day I might find something that I think applies to me. But I think organised religion, excuse me, I think organised religion is just sometimes a bit, I don't know, not to criticise it, but I just think it can be a bit stupid sometimes.
Realistically, I don't think there is anything, but again, there are the doubts. Also, I don't believe in any organised faith or organised religion. I think organised religion is a very stupid thing, and that if you are going to believe in a higher power, it's not going to be something that is known at this stage at the very least. As well, I think science is increasing in its influence, and it is a logical way to go, and to kind of question that, it just seems counterintuitive in itself.
I adore Eastern philosophies, Zen, Tao, and Buddhism, and I don't really practice any of them, but I've read many books, and I think that some of the methods in those philosophies are helping me to live happily. And I always had that thought when I found out about quantum physics, that if someone like God would exist, perhaps he would live inside of the particle, making universe rolling as well.
Would I say I'm Christian now? No. I would say I'm agnostic. I believe in a God, but not the type of God Christianity portrays. I believe in a different God who might not even know we exist, or has, if he's a God of a universe, he's going to have a lot of other planets or a lot of other sentient beings to look over, I'm sure, even if he does look over. That's how I feel about a God.
I've not always felt this way. I've definitely grew up kind of when religion's forced upon you, just in primary school. Not to an extreme extent, but it's something that persists throughout your childhood. I think it's kind of more tradition than anything else. Is that religion in that instance?
I've read parts of the Bible, and whilst although metaphorically I can see its validity, other than that, it's never really affected my thinking. I was never baptized, so I'd never received a religious education of any sorts. So, and other than that, I've always had a great belief in science and reason more than religion. So I guess in that aspect, I'm more of an atheist than anything.
I have always felt this way, and at the moment I have no reason to believe that I'll feel any other way. That doesn't mean I don't question it, I do. I frequently question it, and I think it'd be wrong for anybody not to question why they believe in God and what they believe about God. And part of that questioning is going to church regularly, talking to others and listening to others.
I haven't always felt the same way as I do now, and I'm sure my beliefs will change, and I think that's the great thing about it as well, I don't want to have to feel confined to something that someone else has written or someone else has thought, because I just think it's very personal, and it's just a preference, really. And yeah, I just think it's good to be yourself and be yourself in religion.
I was born in a Christian family, and I've been influenced by anything said up to age of 12. So I've read the Bible, I sang in a church. So I guess I'm grateful for Christianity in a way, because I became musicians, because I started singing at the church first. It was my first contact with music, really, singing collectively.
I wouldn't say that I've always felt this way, but the only time I haven't felt this way was at the age where I was so young that you're going to be influenced by everything you hear. And as I said before, being brought up in a school which was religious, you can't help but take that influence in. And it's only when you get to a certain age that you start thinking for yourself.
No, I remember going to sixth form, and with it being like Christian Foundation school, well, boarding school as well. It was having to go to church on Saturday, like compulsory. If I was there on Saturday, if I didn't go home, having to go was really, really annoying. And I think that made me just confirmed how much I kind of do, how little I do live my life based on kind of some respect towards some unknown. And yeah, and that really annoyed me, and it just kind of got me thinking, it's clearly a load of nonsense. Well, that's how I feel anyway.
But I will never forget that one resurrection mass in April when I was 12 or 13. I was so cold, sitting at 5 in the morning in a freezing cold church, thinking now God wouldn't like me to sit here and getting some cold infection 3 days after. And this is when I started denying that superpower, I guess. And then I found out about Robert Anton Wilson and my life changed forever.
And I guess I've always felt this way, even through the death of family members. I've never sought religion out as comfort. My mother's a Christian, but I never see the reason for being one myself.